Okay, welcome back to the lesson. This is lesson 42. If you want to just get the source code on GitHub, just go to GitHub, the link will be in the thing below. Look for the branch, it will say lesson 42. Okay, so if you've been following the series, we have all this here. So you can sign out, sign in. So all that's set up. There should be jobs loaded here, but I've got rid of these because we're going to do a new thing here. We'll go to search page, search for jobs in an area by category like plumber, electrician, stuff like this. So post job page, this is what we're going to be doing this lesson. It's probably going to be quite a long lesson. So we can go here, can't select a video because it's only images, JPEGs only. A little bit of code to do that. Then we'll submit without the title and stuff. Can't do that. So if this is a services app, or you can take this sort of thing and then put it with any sort of app like classifieds app, sell my bike. So anyway, this is mow my lawn. Description, mow my lawn. You might put some pictures of you. So I'm trying to explain right at the same time. Pictures of you, or pictures of your lawn up there, what needs to be done. Your contact number. See, this is taken from the Redux global store. And this addressing. I've narrowed down to Australia. But I need to fix some things because you can still get some Indonesia things because it's just done by distance from coordinate. So there is some Indonesian ones getting there. Or you'd have to do some fine tuning just to make it Australia and not there for whatever country. But we'll get through that, and you can just have any country anyway. So that comes up like that. This is actually a Google API, gets us to this. So now we submit, and I haven't seen this done anywhere else on YouTube with React multiple images to the Firebase thing. So we're putting them to the storage and then getting the URLs and then put them in Firebase. If I didn't say already, this is a long lesson. So there we are, loading here. Job post successfully. This was just message for me. Now you need to write more functionality. Here, declare job and link back to home page. So that will probably be the next lesson. So let's go into the code. This is a different project. I'll close that down. Okay, so this is post job post page. I've called it that because we already had a job post page, but you can figure out and clean up your app as you like. So first thing you want to do, if you haven't already, which I don't think you have, Command Shift P, paste that in there to download this. So anything you see here you don't have, just npm install or I for install React Places autocomplete like so. And what else? And stuff like this. I don't think that's a straight npm install this. You have to go to just Google this thing and you could be able to install it. So anything you see here is the same. I'll put the job post styling in there as well. I'll close all the ones down we're not using. Okay. So now we come into here. Inspect. Probably have a few errors here. I haven't cleaned up as yet. Where are we? Redux. We'll go to the store. State. User. So in here we have the email. Stuff like that. To access that in a functional component. So you go const store equals useSelector state.user.credentials. So you come in here. State user.credentials. Then you go .email, etc. Come back to here. So if I username equals store.username, so we've got the store value here, which is this. Then we go store.username and store.email, and then you notice here we put that in already. Same as the contact number, but I haven't done that yet. Okay, and then we got all these things here. So if you haven't used React hooks before, this is the initial. That means this. I'll explain it quickly. So, actually, I'll explain it with something we already have here. Okay, so handle change email. So when we type in equals set email, and whatever we're typing is the event.target.value, and then set email sets this value to whatever we're typing in. So then we go console.log email, we'll get the value we typed in. They'll be stuck in the states. But the original value is the email from the store, so we already set that in here. And then when we edit this, that becomes the new email value, and then later when we submit, we can submit that to the database, which we actually don't do in this example, I'm pretty sure. So all these ones here are the same. Job description, we've got a few URL arrays. I'll show you why. So we come here, we click this, we upload these to the state, these URLs into the state by this down here. Yeah, so URL create object URL, and then we add these to add image. So there's a bit to go through, but we get these URLs here, we add them to an array, we show them here, and then when we click submit, we take these URLs, send them to the storage, and from storage it gives us back another URL. So we send these URLs to storage, we get back two URLs from storage, and then we get those URLs and we post them to the database. So later we can get those URLs and put them in somewhere and show the pictures from storage. So I haven't seen this done anywhere else on line, so this is a bonus. If you have, let me know. Okay, so I want to get all these in here. This one, when we get this value back, it comes back as a JSON like this. So that's why we have this here, like so. Types, that's if we upload something that's not a PNG or a JPEG, we'll get the error. And then add URL. So when we add an image, call this function, gets a URL, it calls set URL, gets the existing image URL array, gets it, and then adds new URL to the end. So this just means get existing image URL and then add one into it. So we do that for 3 different arrays because first up, like I said, we'll add them into their own URL array. And then we're getting these URLs added to the storage, but also we're adding the images themselves, so not the URLs, the actual images, to, yeah, my bad, the URLs added so we can show it on the screen. Then we're also saving the images in the state, and then we get those images and then we post them to the storage and get URLs back from the storage and post them to the database. So this first one that just gets the URLs is basically so we can just show them on the screen before we post them. So these make more sense as we go on. As I said, there's a lot to learn in this one, but if you want to copy the code, go through it, might make a bit more sense, and I can explain through it so you can find the bits you're missing. So these are simple ones: handle change job title, set job title, and so this is called, which sets this thing here, and it starts off as nothing. So you could probably do this in one function, but I just made it easier on myself just to do them as separate functions. Okay, so this is handle change. This is called when we select an image. So we go here. Another thing I'll probably add in is deleting these, because currently I cannot delete them. So we'll add this Elon Musk, and that's called that function here. So this is just making sure it's the right type. So it has to be one of these. So it's just checking to make sure selected, mean this image that we select, the types includes selected dot types. So that's just checking that's a JPEG or a PNG. So I'll see if there was an error. We set it to null now, so we don't get that error on the screen from here. So we set that to null so that doesn't show. And then we go var selected image source equals this URL. So we get this thing here, the file that we picked. We get a URL from it. Then we add URL. Call this function add URL with the new image URL, and that calls this function, so it adds it to the images URL array, and that is shown here. So we map through that and show it on the screen. So coming down to here, and then we also add the image to the images array. So this thing here we add to the array to later upload it to storage, and then we get more URLs. So if there's a better way to do this, please let me know in the comments. Point to a video for this. It'd be very helpful to let everyone know. So if it's not the right type, we set the error to this, and we'll display that on the screen. That's it for that handle change function. Next is handle select. So handle select has to do with this one. Handle select be called now when I click on it. So I'll just go through all the screens so we don't miss anything. So this is an async await function. So handle select const results. So G code by address. So this one is up here. You have to import it. So pass in the value, and we get back results. So they're mapped. So they're logged in here. Should be logged in here somewhere. So this is result. Goes for all this, and from this result, we've got in Australia, they're known as states and territories. So we do have level, where is it? Administrative level 1. New South Wales is a state. So this is Queensland, or there should be another one down here. So if you want to print out this result, and then from that we get administrative level 1, and that we get the long name. So go administrative area level 1, anyway it's in that, here it is. So we've got short name, and then we got long name Queensland, and that is set in the state here. So maybe in America or wherever you are, you might have to do it slightly different, but you just have to see the value you want that always is the same. So I saw in here the state is always going to be long name from administrative area level 1, and that's how we did this. So the results there, filter through, address component return, types that includes administrative level 1, and then from that we go var state equals filtered array length dot length question filtered array first value dot long name. So get filtered array, and then from filtered array we want the long name. So that's basically what these bits of code are saying. And then I checked these ones I had to get myself, because in Australia there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 states and territories. So I just checked that the state value we get is with these, and if it's not, then I just alert. But that was just a quick workaround, a bit dodgy. So that's what we do for now. Okay, and then we get latitude longitude equals await. So if you didn't know the await functions, the rest of this down below won't get called until we get this value back, and same with this one. So until we get this value back here, we won't go through and do these ones. So get lat long from the results 0, and if you console log this, you'll see this gives us a JSON, which we then fill these in with. I was going to be lazy and not do it for you, but I think I'll do it for you. Okay, save, we'll do this again. So anyway, then while that's loading, I will get these ones. So we set state, so the state is one of these ones. Even though these are hard coded, that's all that can get returned from when we select something in Australia. So we set the state there. Later to submit, when we click the submit button, we also set the address, which is good to know. If someone's looking at the job, they can say, oh, it's just around the corner. And we set the coordinates, which is pretty important too, because later on when we're searching for a job, we want to go less than 20 kilometers away, and that's when this will come into play. Now we have to log in. Don't know what's happening here. Some of these errors I'll have to fix up as well. You see my password as password. Okay, so enter job. See, we get this latitude, longitude back there, and we set that. We pass that to set coordinates, which calls this and sets those lat and long in there. So handle selects. Now we go use effect. So the thing is with this this API search bar down here, there's a lot of errors you'll encounter trying to load it. So we can't load it twice, we can't initialize it twice, so you're gonna have to use effect, pop in Google Maps loaded, and then we have to make sure it's loaded before we pass it down here. Also this up here we need to set, because we have to set it. So bit to get through. So if it's loaded, if it's not loaded, it's false. We'll load it because it's not loaded yet. So and that's it. But if it's true, we don't do anything. So window.init set maps loaded true. So it sets it true. So next time it passes through, it won't go through this. Then we have to get this here. You'll have to go to your Google Maps API. Okay, come in here. So you obviously have to set up an account with Google if you haven't already. Go to credentials page. And set up a project if you haven't already. I'll just set up I'll just set it up under another one. So you just click here, it'll copy that. Go back to the code, and that goes in key equals so in between there and there, that's where you paste that. Okay, so that's all done. Now you do this, and then you have to call this down the bottom, otherwise you'll keep getting an error again. So make sure you call this. I'll just save that and see what the error you get. I've actually forgotten the error, what the error is. Can't remember now, but that took a while to figure out, so make sure that's in there. Okay, so then we have this next use effect. So this is when we're uploading to the database. We only call, because we're adding these images to the storage and getting URLs back. And say we've got 3 images, we want to make sure we've got 3 URLs in the storage image URL. So we want to make sure the URLs match. So obviously here this will be 3 images before we upload to the database. And this URL, we'll upload 1 image, get a URL back, add that URL to this array, and then same again 3 times. So we want to make this gets to 3 times. So we'll upload 1 image, 2 images, 3 images, and then it'll equals this array. So then we can call upload data and upload all these URL arrays, upload all these URL arrays to our database. So if you don't know, use effect is fired every time this is changed. Use effect is fired. So it changes, this gets fired, and then we check it's equal, it's not equal, wait for the next change, it gets fired. If we have 3 images and we've got 3 URLs back, then we'll upload the data. So that's what that means. This is empty. We have this in a backend if you did the series, but I've just brought it onto this one page, just make everything on the one page. So that's just checking that the things aren't empty. Get rid of this. So we're setting the, so it is empty. We set the address error. Address must not be empty. So up here, sets the error, and then we show the error here if we have one. If we don't, it doesn't show. Okay, so coming back to here, and then we've also got these errors dot job address. Put any value there, but just at the end, we check if there's, so we set these errors to set them on the page, and then we set these errors here just to make sure this is true or false if we have errors, which I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but it's just how I'm doing it. So job address is empty, we'll give that error. Job title, give that error. Job description, if you want to simplify it for yourself, you can just do 1, show 1 error. But remember, some of these are important to upload the database. We do need the address, do need job description, and if we have the address, we have the coordinates as well, so that's why I've done that one. So valid, so validate data, we call this down below in the submit, because if this doesn't return, if this returns no errors, we can continue. If it does return errors, we won't continue, and we'll show the errors on the screen. And then afterwards, we pass through this, validate, and we're all good. We clear the errors so they're not on the screen. Okay, and then come down here, we got the user data. So you could do address like that, because as you know, if you have the same value, that's how we do it, but I've done like this so it's not so confusing. Email, don't know why I did that out. I think I was a bit lazy in uploading the email. So that address is set in the state, so all these from the state. Let's have this timestamp, username. Pretty sure username is from the global state, as I showed you before. But yeah, feel free to only use what you have to. Okay, now the handle submit. So we set loading true. So it shows the errors, but we set loading true, will show the spinner spinning around. Then when we're done, we stop the loading, stops the spinner. or the circular progress thing as it's known. So here we check valid errors. If valid, no, sorry, if not valid, set loading false, and the errors are already being shown, so we don't have to do anything. So we just have to return. If you click return, it gets out of the handle submit and doesn't continue further. So that's all we need to do there. So we do pass this, we'll set error values to null, which calls this one to setting them to null. Okay, images array. If image array is equal to 0, upload data. So it means if we don't have any images, we'll just straight away upload data, return out of this one. But if we do, then we have to go through this strenuous process of getting the URLs, upload to storage, and then things like that. So we'll go through that now. So images array.map. So images array is this one. So it's actually not the array of URLs shown on the screen, it's these array of these things. So we submit. So it is quite confusing, and if anyone has a better way, please comment down below pointing to a YouTube video, because I haven't seen one with the Firebase, firestore, storage, and React. So anyway, so we map through the array, so whatever's on the screen here, we don't have any images. That's actually me in the background. It's a bit blurry, but anyway. So map through these images. Make an ID, so copy, find that one. Util make ID. So I will need you to point. I will need to point you to this one. Okay, so where are you? Make ID. So I'll put this in the code as well, but it's just making a random ID that's never really going to cross over, so it's always unique, and we only need to use it a few times, so not very much chance that it will happen. Really slurring my words today. Okay, so let's make ID. It just gives a random ID. So upload task, put URL. So Firebase storage, if you didn't know, and I was comparing Firebase with MongoDB, they're kind of the same. Apparently MongoDB is better for large, what is this? MongoDB is better for large applications and Firebase for small ones. So I'm in the process myself finding out which is better. So they go to storage here, and these storages have their own URLs. And this is with the token. So copy that, paste it there, should show us the same image. Back to here. So they have URLs there, and this is the storage, and then firestore contains the jobs with a URL that relates to that. So here I got job post, New South Wales, electrical. That was just hard coded in, so lady might choose plumber, electrician. Okay, so you got these images, and this image will relate back to that thing in the storage. So that's how that works. So upload tasks, you can actually get the progress. So as this uploads, it sends back 20% done, 30% done, 40%, and so from that you could have a bar, like a div, and you style that div the width depending on how much is uploaded. So the div goes across the screen as it uploads, and that's just how you do it there. But mine, I just have a spinner. We can come back to that later if it looks important. So bit dodgy, error, this did not work. Hopefully we never get an error, but we need better error handling in the end. Okay, get download URL and upload the post info. So here we go, storage.ref images.child, image name, same name here, the same name here, .jpeg, get the URL. So then we get the URL, then we go URL, add storage URLs. So that just adds the URL to the storage image URLs. So they're ready to go. So these ones, so we're uploading to here, and then we're getting these URLs from here, getting them ready, storing them ready to go to the database once we've got all three, or how many, depends on how many pictures you have. So upload one to the storage, get the URL in our array, upload it in the next, get the URL in the array, and then we'll upload the URLs to the database. Okay, so that's what that is doing. Copy, find. So set URLs given from storage. Storage image URL array is now equal to what it was plus the new URL we get. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. We're just adding them to an array to later upload to the database, which we do here. Yeah, and so this upload data, it's either called here because we've got no images, or it's called after, because I'll show you where else it's called. Okay, where are we? Oh yeah, that's the use effect. So this use effect gets called every time we upload, we add a URL here, but it's only when we've got all the URLs that we call upload data from the use effect. Once again, there might be a better way to do it, but this is the way that worked and the way I've gone with. So where are we? Okay, and then it's all done. We call upload data. If state is not equal to empty string, so that's the state. Just thinking why we needed that. I'm not sure if we actually need this thing, but I was just checking the state was not empty, as in the state here. So I'm pretty sure we shouldn't get to that stage, but maybe we did. I can't remember. So back to here. So then we go db collection job post dot state, and then I've hard. Oh, this is why, because if you didn't have this, I was getting some strange error here that was saying this had to be a value. Yeah, because this gets called when use effect is called, so that's why it had to do this here. Upload data. Okay, so yeah, it's strange. Miss this out and see the error you get just by having this here, the state. So db.collection job post doc state. Come back to here. State, and then we go electrical. And then we add the job, and you just go add user data. This automatically adds a document for us. So add the document with its own ID. And then we add user data, which if you didn't remember, user data is all this stuff here. Set loading false, so we change this little spinner that's here, or little spinner that's here, that we don't see now, but we will after I do this. We set that to false to get rid of this, and should say job posted successfully. Okay, so coming back, pretty sure this is it. Oh, then we got all this stuff here to go through. Apologize. So all this will be in here. That'll be in the database. Sorry, that'll be in the GitHub post, my GitHub repository. So hopefully you should know all this. This here was a bit to do for this here, so you can simply make that a bit easier for yourself if you wish. just by putting input. Da-da-da-da. Why is that happening? I'm just going to leave that as is, but if you're up this far, you should know how to do this. Oh, and I think we've got more errors because this probably keeps going. And obviously, there's more to do. We have to get off this page once we've posted the job. Get back to the home page and show these, which we'll do in the next lesson. Or upcoming lessons. So then we've got add image, which I've just put some code in, so it's just to let someone using the app for the first time like, oh yeah, that's the add image, and then we'll get rid of that after someone's added because they already know they can click again. It's not really necessary, but that's what I've done there. Okay, then we get error here. So that error, I think it's just related to the image. So can't upload a movie. Get this error. Okay, and then we map through images URL array. Display those on the screen here, which is these. And we've got the text field, title, job title error. So the job title error set to true, which that will sets that to red, etc., and then shows that message as well. And then help text job title error, which is this here. We set it to that. Then pretty much the same thing goes for job description, contact number. I didn't put errors there, but you can have something say you need your number there. Email, didn't put any errors there either, but that's for you to do if you wish. Okay, then we got these. So we'll show the job address, the state, and address error if we have one. So that there. And place autocomplete. So once again I said you need this here. So if you try and do it without this, you'll get an error. So make sure Google Maps is loaded, as I said up here before. And then you also need this here. Okay, back down. Places autocomplete. So I just did a lesson on this, but okay, this is the thing. So get your, say you're in America, you want all of America, get somewhere in the middle of America. So these are lat and longitude, and then do a radius. So I think this is in meters, so how many meters away from this radius you want to get to, and then types address, so you can only get addresses. So we get, that's just to get Australia, you don't actually need that. And then down here, places autocomplete. So you actually can copy this from. Yep. Okay, in here. Then I've added some things in. I'm just busy doing a tutorial. No. Apologize for that, guys. Okay, so where are we? Back to here. No, back to here. Places autocomplete. So I said you can get that here. And I've edited this out to do with React hooks. So this is done with the state. Mine's done with React hooks. And this will be in the source code on GitHub. Lesson 42. Yeah, so that's to get a place near you if you just want to allocate it to your area. So all this is just styling, so when you click on something, See, it's like highlighting the one you're hovering over, stuff like that. Check if it's loaded because it might not be loaded yet. Okay, what else can I say about this? You want to set the keys to something that's always going to be different, so suggestion.description. Oh, but also make sure when you set the key, it wants to be at the bottom of where down here. So in this div, set this key after setting this, otherwise you'll get an error. Keep getting an error. For some reason this overwrites it. So coming down, it's got the submit button. If it's loading, we got that circular thing spinning around. And that's pretty much it for this lesson. So sorry about any long takings, but it's just necessary. So what I want to achieve the next lesson is upload that job, or say job posted, and we'll show these jobs here. Then I'm going to get a search bar saying state, find job in state, category plumbing, and then probably I'll add plumbing into, sorry, not plumbing, but it's like a thing in here to add the category. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.